Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
And welcome to Sit Tight Podcast. Woo! So, for today's episode, we're going to delve into a topic very dear to our hearts. We're going to be talking about mental health because we care about you guys. And it's something that we believe it just needs to be discussed more often.
Yeah.
And for this episode today, we have a wonderful guest by the name of Jay Savage.
Come on. Thanks for having me, ladies. Thank you.
So, gosh, where do we start? Do you know what? I'm gonna stick it on ya.
Oh.
So, guys, we always talk about mental health and we always consider women.
Yeah.
But now we need to find out what men are thinking. So, Jay Savage, could you talk to us a bit about your journey in mental health and how you believe mental health is perceived for men?
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. Mental health for men is a very like touchy subject, if you get what I mean. Because you see, like as myself and most men, we like to deal with things to ourselves. We don't like talking about our feelings. We don't open up because obviously, like male ego in it is deemed as some sort of weakness if we're to open up and talk with it, and then that's obviously the main problem where it gets bottled up inside. Some people lash out or they just keep to themselves. So that's pretty much it, to be honest.
And how do you think us as females perceive your mental health? Do you feel like, I don't know.
Oh, you don't take it serious, man.
Oh, so we don't take it serious?
Don't take it serious.
Elaborate.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Oh, boy. Okay, so it's... Do you know what the thing is with men? Like, if you try to, like I said, if you try to open up, it depends. It depends on the person and it depends on the woman and it. But majority of the time, and most women, when you speak to them about your problem, some of them might advise you like, okay, yeah, like just do this and do this. But sometimes all men want to hear is like, listen, we've got this. Like just that word, we've got this. It means you ain't got to do it on your own. You've got me. We're gonna do it together. There's no stress. There's no palaver. No problem. That's mainly what most men want to hear without any judgment. But sometimes it's hard to talk to women because, like I said, it's deemed as a weakness. It's like, oh, like, man up, man. Like, what you mean you got bare stress? Like, man up, man. Like, I got to be carrying baby. I got to be doing this. I got to be doing that. Like, do you know what I mean? It's perceived a certain way. So, like I said, it's very hard, like, for most of the time for men to open up to women because that's generally what it's like.
Yeah, I think that actually makes sense because my ex told me that before he would, when we're in a relationship, that he would come and talk to me about something, and it would be more like I was then just bringing up my issues rather than listening to what he was saying and trying to understand, like you said, like saying that we've got this. I would then kind of twist it and just make it about me in a way. Just be like, okay, you're going through this, but we've not seen each other for this, we've not seen each other for like 2 weeks and we've not been communicating well. So basically I'm not understanding that this is what he's going through. He's going through something and I'm not kind of just taking that on and saying, okay, what can we do to help you? What can we do to, make this a bit bearable, whatever it is that they're going through. So I definitely get it, and it's also why suicidal rate in men is much higher than women. But then at the same time, I get that sometimes most of the time women don't take it seriously or we don't really understand it. But is it men making it harder for us too? Because like you said, there's that ego, there's all these societal pressures put on men. A man has to be a man can't cry, a man is seen as a weakness. Because if we don't know, how are we gonna, sometimes help, So there's,
No, 100%. I understand that.
Do you know what? I think nowadays, I think there's so much more that we can do, but I do feel like we're trying. Like, for example, like, let's say people around you, I feel like everyone should have that one friend where they feel open to speaking to things about, or a family member where you're like, okay, this is a safe space for me to offload. Because obviously we are aware that not everyone we need to offload, because some people may not be, like you said, some people might be judgmental. Yeah. They may not be compassionate. They may not listen to you. But then as long as you have that open space, I mean, I do, like, for example, I have a question actually. How do you feel about crying in front of a female?
Oh, you lot give it.
That's a question. That is a good question.
Do you know what? I'll be honest, innit? In my past relationships, I think I cried maybe like once in front of my partner because like I was stressed out. And obviously like she's there to comfort me. Do you know what I mean? And it just came out, and it's like after that happened, it kind of got thrown back in my face.
Oh no!
Wow, that's
So like since then, I'll be honest, I don't cry. Like I'll be like even now, like if I go, like it might sound a bit weird, innit? But since like I go to funerals or anything like that, I don't cry. Like last time I cried, I can't even tell you. It's probably been years, man.
How did she throw it back in your face? Did she say, "Oh, you're weak"? What did she do? Did she laugh? What?
Do you know what? It's like we got into the argument, and it's just like, oh, remember that time you were there crying your eyes out, yeah, and all of this and all that. I just sat back and I was like,
You females are bad minds.
I was like, raw like that. I was like, cool. You know what?
Never again.
Never again, innit? So since then, I don't show no emotions. Hence the name Savage.
Just savage.
But yeah, man, nah, I don't do no emotions. I don't do any of that. Like I said, it's for guys. It's really difficult because it's not even just like even with women. Like some guys is like there's some I've got guy friends, but I can't go to them and speak to them about my problems, like innit? Because you don't want to be deemed weak in front of your guys, innit? It's probably like one of my guys that I've grown up with. His name's Callum. I've grown up with him since years. Our parents know each other. He's the only person that I can open up to.
Do you guys cry in front of each other?
Oh no, we ain't doing that. No. We can't do that. Nah. But we talk. Don't get me wrong. We talk like he will advise me. I'll advise him, and that's pretty much it, innit? But
isn't that exhausting? Like sometimes you just need to let it out, like in terms of the tears, and then you just feel better. Don't you feel like it's so?
do you know what? But then this is the thing. It's our egos. We can't just openly just do that. That's the problem. If it was that easy, then trust me, most men will cry.
What? Okay. What does? Let's say you meet a girl. What does she need to kind of show you for you to feel like, do you know what? I'm comfortable enough. I know the other one was kind of a bitch. That was very bitchy.
Whoever you are, yeah, I'm coming for you.
That is mad. That is mad.
Oh, do you know?
Like, yeah. What do you have to see in that girl for you to be like, no? Actually, what if it's a wife? So you wouldn't cry in front of your wife, like somebody you've committed to, you have kids.
But you know what? Probably in that situation.
Yeah.
I probably still won't if I'm being honest with you, innit? Because then I feel like then it's much worse, innit? Because you're married. No, listen, hear me out. You're married to that person. You've got kids. Do you know what I mean, innit? You're deemed as like the man of the house, the protector, innit? Imagine you just like you can open up to your wife sometimes. Obviously, you've got kids around and stuff like that. You teach the whole point. Like you teach your kids like, look, everything's gonna be okay. Like just like, but if you're religious, believe in God, like everything will be alright, innit? But in that kind of aspect, from my experience, I personally now can't do that.
But then it's going to carry a generational kind of... Because if you have a son, and your son never see you cry, then he's going to feel like, it's not good to cry.
I get what you
He's
mean.
going to carry it on, and then it's just going to be like a
One cycle going around, yeah.
But do you not think... I generally feel like it has a lot to do with your upbringing. Because obviously what you just said there, like... You're like, obviously you're taught to get on with it and like just get through it, but wouldn't that be more of a sense of your upbringing, like how you're brought up? Okay, shut up, deal with it, move on. Would you say like that's an upbringing that a lot of men have? Because obviously you said, okay, men are supposed to be the providers. Does that mean that, okay, you're not allowed to show your emotions, you're not allowed to show that vulnerability because you don't want to seem weak?
Do you know what? For me mainly, I've obviously just grown up with my mum. And obviously my older brother, innit? And it's like, obviously my pops wasn't around as much, innit? So it's like, I kind of get used to it, innit? Like, obviously with my mum, I wouldn't, as a man, you wouldn't cry in front of your mum, innit? Because the one thing that can break your mum's heart is to see her son cry, her children crying, do you know what I mean? So even that itself, I've learned just not to do it. You know what I mean? Especially like, but as you said, it becomes with a lot of like, if you're upbringing as well, innit? Because even when I was in secondary school, it's like, you know how secondary school, it was a lot of, I don't know for you lot, but for a guy it was a lot of pressure, you know? Like you couldn't show no emotion or anything like that. Like it's a lot in it, especially because I grew up in Tottenham, so most of my friends obviously are from the area and all of that in it. But it's just something that we don't do. I'll be honest. Like we can talk as if there's things going on, we can talk. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, it's just one of those things that men just don't have the confidence or they won't let it out to do. Like for me, like as much as I talk to my guy if I'm going through something. A majority of the time, there's someone else that I'm talking to is going through something. I say, listen, just talk to me. Like, what's going on? I like to be there for people, but when it comes for me doing it,
I understand.
I'm not doing it.
Relate.
I'll be there for people. Obviously, I've been going through it a lot now, so I know how to deal with it. Like, obviously, there's been times, like me personally, I felt like suicidal quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I never really turned to my family for advice or anything like that, because it's like, I think I've done it like a couple of times, innit? But it's like, you're deemed like, oh, like you're fine, man. You're just exaggerating and stuff like that.
I think that's cultural.
Yeah, especially with African parents. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like so even with that, it's just like you can't just show emotion. Like you just gotta suck it up and deal with it on your own.
Do you feel like maybe what's it called, therapy as well will be, because black men and therapy, I don't know what it is. You guys are so
You don't like it.
I remember like my ex, like I said, I was telling him, you know, you need to go. He's like, no. What do you mean? Like I don't need to say
Is it like a
therapist.
taboo?
Yeah, like what is, I feel like now it's becoming, they're accepting it a little bit more, not as much as they need to, but definitely it's a thing that they see as like, no, what do you mean? I don't need to go see a therapist. What are you talking about?
Do you know what? Do you know what? For me personally, I don't know about other guys, but for me personally, I've had this conversation with my boy Callum as well. And it's like, why am I going to therapy for someone that's being paid to listen to me? This is my point. It's not like for me personally, okay, cool, they might care. But knowing that they're getting paid just to listen to me is just like,
but it's just to listen to you.
That's to help
because
you
I
as
work
well.
in mental health with children from age 5 to 18, and like we get a lot of 5-year-olds with mental health, and that's obviously, you know, it wouldn't be because of anything outside world. There's always, you know, in the family, maybe they've witnessed domestic violence or whatever it is. And, you know, sometimes I do have to kind of, like you said, sit there and listen to them. But it's not just sitting there and listening to them. Sitting there, listening to them and giving them some strategies to do when when they feel that low, when they feel, you know, suicidal, or when they start acting out, you know, how to kind of deal with it. It's not like you're just going to sit there, you're going to talk about it and they're just like, and then, okay, bye, 1 hour's off.
literally,
And also, it would be it's like a safe, great space. And there's no judgment there. So outside world, I'm not going to cry in front of my parents, my family, any girls, my friends. But this person, you can cry in front of, and you can go and be like, this is a stranger. What's the point? What's wrong with me crying in front of them? Do you get what I mean?
no, yeah, I get you.
You in a different way. But a lot of men think like you, though. They definitely do. They're like, yeah, they just, why am I paying for a stranger to sit there and just listen to my problems?
Do you know, 100%. I understand where you're coming from, but do you know what? I just can't do it. I'll be honest. Like me personally, I can't do it.
Oh my god!
Like, I've spoken to a lot of like my guy friends, and they're like, "Yeah, like, I'm not going therapy."
Well, like if you can't confide in your guys, you can't confide in your family.
I've come with one guy. 'Cause my circle's really tight. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so apart from that one guy, so you're saying there's no one else you can confide, like nobody.
Probably one of my other veterans that I met, obviously through work. Like, her name's Ebony. Like, she's literally like my sister. Just her, just them two. That's it. But no, I'll be honest with you, no one else. Just those two. No one else. I don't talk to. Nah.
Do you feel like I'm looking at Charlotte.
Give me that side eye, innit?
Give me that bombastic side eye. She's like, that's why she keeps asking you. There's no one else.
Alright, cool. 3 people, innit? 3 people, yeah? But for real, yeah.
Because you feel like there will be judgment there, and then they'll be like, or you just don't want to be vulnerable in front of everyone else that's in your life. You know, the ones that you can't speak to. You just don't feel comfortable.
Do you know what? Like I said in it, because obviously I've let people in the past,
Okay.
and it's like it's been thrown back at me. I just can't go through that again, innit? Because to have something like to open up as a guy, you let your guard down, and then especially for someone to throw that back in your face, you will never. You learn, like, you know how people say you learn from your mistakes. So I've learned from my mistakes. It's just something I can't do. Like now, I really must like know you to a level. Like I'm talking about like obviously my boy I've known for like 26 years. My bedroom I'm at work, I've known her for 3 years, but she's not giving me any reason to doubt her.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She's loyal. She's always there for me. Obviously, I got my cousin as well. She's there. Well, still give me the side eye, but yeah.
Bombastic side eye.
But yeah, no, she's there for me as well. So it's because it takes a lot to open up again after a situation like that. So
apart from them, what do men do to kind of
How do you
keep
cope?
themselves sane?
Yeah.
Because with me, I would, I've like all my friends know I'm an open book. All my friends know what I'm going through. Like I will tell them if I'm having a breakdown or whatever. I will tell them I go to therapy. So those are the kind of things that I keep to keep myself sane, or maybe I'll do like a little self-care here and there. What do you guys do? Like,
Well, me personally, just gym,
Okay.
workout is my. Especially if I'm really stressed out, I've had a long day, I'll just go to the gym,
And that's it.
and that's it.
Wow.
Apart from that, if I'm going through a lot, like a little bit of a tough time, I've got like a little bit of like a military thing that I do on the side. But that's just like a running away, kind of escaping. For anything, man, just book a flight, go somewhere, innit? Just get out, you just.
Sometimes you just
But
have to get out.
I know, but the thing is, like, the thing is with like booking flights and just all these little getaways, you're coming back to reality.
Yes, the same thing.
Coming back to the-
Yeah.
Coming back to this, I know so many people. They just book a flight. They'll do solo. They'll go. They're like, I just decided today. I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, literally,
But I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, you're coming. Well, you're going there for temporary happiness or whatever it is, and then you're back, and it's the same thing. Nothing has changed. So then what? You can't be booking flights what in the cost of
Yeah, but literally, like, but literally, just to add on to what you said, like it's literally like it's just temporarily. If it's a thing where you're going away and you actually sat down to yourself, like, cool, this situation is going on in London. Let me see how I'm gonna at least come up with a plan to deal with it. But nah, man, you push that to the side. You're gonna be on the beach, drinking your.
I think it depends. I think most people go out for distraction, but then sometimes when you go away, like you can have some time. You can really like meditate and actually think things through. So let's just say 10% of people will sit down and think things through. Other people be like, do you know what? I'm gonna S out. I'm gonna fly out. I don't care. And then you come back, you're like, oh.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, I would go and not think about it because the whole point of me going is so I can leave it.
Leave
Yeah.
it, yeah.
I can't just start thinking about it and then I'm low. So when you get like really low, what do you do? Because
Yeah.
like obviously we all have mental health. We're dealing with some stuff, but I know that there are times where there are little moments where we're just like in that pit of like just so low. Like I remember one time at work I was having a panic attack and then I had to drive home and just halfway through quit, not quit, but say I can't do this. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take the rest of the day off because I just generally can't bring myself to work any further. Like this panic attack is not going. So I'm driving home, and I'm like, I want to drive into a tree. Like,
No, yeah, I 100% get you on that one. Yeah.
What would happen if I drove into a tree right now? This is what, or just swerve somewhere and let another car. But obviously, I don't want to. Take another person's life and stuff like that. And obviously, in that moment, I would call my best friend, and I did, and she, distracts me, take my mind off it until I get home. She's like, "Okay, you're home safe." What do you like? Do you get what I mean? Men, when you're in that state, like,
what do you do?
What do you do?
Well, hopefully I won't be driving.
But
nah, honestly, in that time, it's just I've been locked in my room. My phone's on D&D, just locked in my room. But then this is the dangerous thing about it. It's like when you're at home, you're alone with your thoughts. Like, and you know what? I feel like even for men now, social media is probably the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, like it's so weird that I don't even have to explain that. I won't say it's judge or anything, but if I'm feeling the type of way, I'm feeling low, I say, cool, let me just go on Instagram. So I won't even search that on Instagram. I'll just go to a little search bar. I'm seeing all these depressing quotes and all this. I'm thinking, what? I'm thinking,
I don't know.
is that what's going on?
To what's on our
TikTok is the
phone?
worst. TikTok is the worst. I start seeing all these videos about the motivational stuff, someone playing sad music in the background with all the, and it's literally the worst thing. Like you said, like you go on social media and it just makes you sink even lower.
Literally, it's not. I'll be honest. It's not something that's ideal to do. Like that's how now I'm just like, and I'm feeling the type of way. I'm just like, yeah, my phone's getting off, man. Just go watch Netflix or something and just chill.
Up until it
Passes. Yeah, it's just a thing. It passes over time. You just gotta give it time, and it will sort itself out.
But therapy is not something that you.
Me personally, no. Obviously, I will encourage other guys to do it. Try it out. It's not my thing, innit?
Do as I
It's
do.
not.
Don't do as. What's the word? Do as I say.
Wait, don't do as I
not
say,
do.
but yes,
Yeah, do as I say, not as I do.
Obviously, I would encourage other men to go out there because obviously, it's a thing like it's okay not to be okay as a guy, innit? But it's just with the way that life is and the way like everything's perceived, it's not allowing us to open up more. That's the problem, innit? Without being judged.
Right.
That's the main thing. And I don't know about you two, but like it's like my workplace is. I ain't gonna say where in it, but my workplace is it's like gossip central, innit?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
It's that's another thing for mental health as well, man. Just gossip is just it's beating us down, man, for real.
Do you think there's like, let's say if there was one thing you could change that would make it better for like men to like open up, what would that be?
That's a good question.
Ooh. So what they can be for men to open up?
Yeah, like for example, like would you want, like, let's say like for us women, like we need to get educated, or like I don't know, like if there was anything you could do, like something that you could put in place just to make it easier for men to just open up and like be vulnerable and just feel like they're being heard, like what would that be?
Yeah, there needs to be a uni course for the gal them still.
Oh, so we need a uni course. We need a uni course.
Of course. What, a year course for 6 months?
I'll be honest, because I'll be honest. I don't know if most men will agree. I know most men will agree with what I'm about to say, but I personally feel like if women were a lot more understanding, a lot more comforting, a lot of men will open up.
I actually agree with that.
I'll be honest with you, especially like if it's like your partner or your sister, your parents. A lot of men will open up, and it will be a big burden off our shoulders.
But sometimes don't you think it's also kind of a preconceived, like you kind of jump to that conclusion where you say, oh, if I say it to them, this is how they're gonna react, but you don't exactly know that that's how they're gonna react, and then it stops you.
Yeah, but then this is a thing as like for me, like, obviously because of my past, it's like I'm deemed as an overthinker. You know what I mean? So I always think worst case scenario. Like there's stuff that I thought to myself, like, cool, let me go speak to my mum about it, and I'm deep in, alright, cool, she's an African parent, yeah, and I'm about to go say this to her. It's either I'm gonna get something thrown at me, or it's just gonna be like, yeah, I ain't got time for whatever you're about to say, because it's not making sense, innit? Yeah. But I don't know. I would say if women are a bit more understanding, then yeah, a lot of men will open up. Realistically, yeah. Cultural things, yeah.
Because my mum would say something like, "Oh, you're young, you've got a job. What do you have to be worried about? What do you have to be stressed about? What do you have to be, depressed about? You're not depressed." Kind of just pushing
it. Yeah.
Off, and it's the devil.
Oh my God, I heard that one before.
It's the devil. You have to pray.
That's the typical African parents response.
This is why I tell you, go to church every Sunday. You have to go to church. You have to pray. And I mean, sometimes, you do have to pray, but you can't blame everything on the devil. And I feel like that's what they do. Like, they feel like nothing can ever be just us. It always has to be something outside.
Yeah. But I think that's just the norm when it comes to African parents. Like
they have that. There's a culture and the way they were brought up. They were taught specific things, and they're expected that we take that on as like food for thought. When really we're a whole different generation. We're going through something completely different. Yeah. And be kind. But then African parents don't know how to be kind.
No.
It's not even about be kind. Any kind of issue, go take paracetamol. You got a headache, go take paracetamol. Your girlfriend broke up with you, go take paracetamol. Like literally.
Fix everything.
Do you know
Like,
what I mean?
as a female, if you go to your mum and mum, I broke up with my boyfriend. I don't know about you two. Most times it's like, "Alright, listen, here's a tub of ice cream. Let's watch a movie. Let's cuddle up." Go to your mum, yeah, as a guy. What do you mean no?
No, I'm sorry, my mum didn't react that way.
Laughed at.
Because I didn't like your ex.
I know, but I got laughed at. No one took me seriously. They're like, oh, you'll go back.
My mum just like, kept asking me why.
Oh yeah, I'll be like, why?
And I kept telling them, and she literally, till this day, she was still asking me why we broke up, even though I've told her a million times. And then they don't also understand the concept of you can still be friends sometimes with your ex if it doesn't end, mad. No.
I can't.
If you have a cordial breakup.
I've never heard of cordial. I can't lie.
Why you've never heard of cordial?
No. I mean, I've heard of it, but
Yeah.
I've not experienced that, so I wouldn't know.
So if it was just like general consensus, this is not working. Let's, it's still cool. Let's just break up.
Bye.
Jay said no. He said.
Bye.
You know what? Oh my god, I'm trying to think about this without getting in too deep, but
I agree with him. I can't lie. The thing is, you were in my life at one point. You had so much to play. If I want to move on, I feel like the fact that you're there, you're holding me back. No.
Want to move on?
Yeah, I'll be like, you're just linked. Do you know what it is? It's like you have a fly in the room and the fly won't get out. You're shooing the fly, but the fly won't get out.
Windows and they're not getting out.
They refuse to go. But that's just how I feel personally. But I've never had a cordial breakup. So if I had a cordial, I'll be like, okay, he could stay in the corner over there.
yeah, I'll be honest. I don't talk to any of my exes.
Me neither.
I've been in three serious relationships, and it's just like, yeah.
Was it like all of them like bad breaking up or?
You know, I want
Okay, let's move on.
Do you know what? It's not even a thing like that. It's just they decided to leave, innit?
Okay.
Like they decided to leave, and obviously everyone's got their reasons, innit? And the one thing, like I said, the one thing that I say with men, it's like we don't open up as much, innit? Obviously, when I opened up my first one, I was guarded on my second and on my third. So,
Because the first one messed it up for everyone else, basically.
second one they done them bit of a madness as well. But it's like I said, it's deemed a certain way in it, because like as a guy, mental health wise, it's like, for example, if you have a bad breakup with someone, obviously you don't know what it's about. And normally me, I try to fight. It's like I'd rather work something out than go find someone new.
Right.
But it's like a lot of things can happen. Like majority of like in my case, my ex went back to her ex.
Why are you getting
So that I know people might think, well, you lot broke up, and it don't matter. But mental health wise, that kicks you down. Because the whole point of a relationship, if you don't work out with someone, you move on to someone better.
right?
But then you've gone back down one step, and it's just like
So basically, when she was with you, there was still a door open, ajar for him.
pretty much.
For him to come back.
Yeah.
There was definitely that.
Have some respect on your name, man.
But like you were saying before, we don't get ice creams. I'm not saying comments saying, "Oh, you broke up, oh my baby, ice cream." No.
So what's your parents doing?
She didn't do anything.
Nothing.
No, like I said, all she kept asking me was why did we break up, and then she was just like, "Oh, okay, well, let him go." That's it. That's literally.
See, it's like he says, different generation. They won't understand.
Parents laughed at
I
you.
got laughed at. I can't lie. I got laughed at for about 6 weeks. I was down in the dumps. I got laughed at. Oh, it's okay. You'll go running back.
He will come running back.
No, I will. I'm like, pardon?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. My mum said that to me a couple of times, and it got on my nerves.
I feel like they do it on purpose.
Why did they do
like,
that?
I feel like they do it on purpose because they're like, do you know what? Yeah, if I do, it's like, it's like you got a balloon. You keep poking until it bursts. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like if someone's down in the dumps,
You can't kick.
why are you kicking them when they're down? And I
Yeah.
feel like African parents do that a lot.
They do. No. Oh, absolutely. They do with everything.
Just let it go. Just let me be. Let me grieve. And let me heal.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know. I feel like as women, in terms of for men's mental health, I do feel like we should be more understanding and also be more self-aware. Because what it is we could be talking to you, but our self-awareness is lacking, and we're not actually seeing that. Oh, you know what? You're down in the dumps. I know you very well. You're not your usual self. I need to ask you why. what's going on? How can I support you? Because sometimes us women, I know, we go off on a tangent. We'll be talking about, you'll be like, oh, I'm feeling down. I'll be like, oh, by the way, do you know what happened to that girl over there? Or do you know what I mean? So it's like, sometimes we forget ourselves and we always need to make sure that we just need to check up on each other. The same way guys check up on guys, we actually need to check up on each other.
But do you know what? When you obviously when we're talking about this whole mental health, when you're saying that what women can do, are you guys talking in the aspect of the guy's partner or like friend or like
Friends?
Because we have guy friends, you know.
cool. So
I don't.
so
I mean, I do. I do, but yeah.
so leading on to another situation about that. Do you know what? It's probably difficult. Another reason why it's difficult for a man to open up to a female friend. 'Cause obviously, if, like, your friends are your friends, innit? Do you know what I mean, innit? But sometimes it could, for all you know, like there can be a group chat, a whole bunch of girls, and they're laughing at what that guy's going through. Do you know? No, look, it's in this day and age, it does happen. That's the thing. That is another main thing.
The girls' group chats, man.
Oh gosh, the group chat. But the thing is, I would never like. Okay, that's me.
I would.
No, you two would never. But think about how many like females are in the UK, let alone the world.
Then does it not matter how well you know that woman? Because if you know them very well, you know they've got a big mouth. You wouldn't be inclined to tell. No. But do you know when you need to know somebody properly before? Because I think even for me to open up someone, I need to know you proper to the T. If you've got a big mouth, I ain't gonna chat to you about my problems or how I feel.
Do you know what? I think it kind of just depends on the individual because, like I said, I've known my boy for 26 years. You know what I mean? I can trust him. My other bedroom I met through work. I've probably known her about 2 to 3 years now, and I trust her with my life, innit? It kind of just depends on how comfortable they make you, and then obviously you build that trust. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, if it wasn't for those two, then I don't know where I would be right now. Those three, correction. But yeah, can't see that side eye, innit?
Beside eye, I'm telling you.
So obviously, it wasn't for these 3 people and other people as well. If I get outed, but yeah, I don't know. Probably, I'll be honest, probably wouldn't be here right now.
It's always that there's always a certain type of people, a certain number of people, that one person that's always kind of been there where you think back and you're like, gosh, like, well, like, I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for those people. Absolutely. There's all, but do you think that, I know we speak about kind of society and stuff like that, and we obviously in this society right now, do you think that we still have, most girls, or maybe all the girls, all of us, we have that, we're still conditioned to see, subconsciously, to see men as weak if they do look vulnerable? Or do you feel like it's more the men that's kind of,
They kind of like think that
they think that we think that? Or
Yeah.
is it that subconsciously women are still stuck in like that societal conditioning that men, you know, shouldn't cry, they should be the head of the, you know, they should be strong, they should be da 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 da. Men don't go through mental health. What do you mean? It's just women. Do you get what I mean?
Do you know what? It's like obviously men they're not just born that way and wake up that way, and it's like, oh, I don't trust women. Do you know what I mean? It's obviously some sort of guy would obviously gone through this whole situation in his past or his current life, and the thing is, from that one time where a guy gets hurt, that's it. We're closed, shut down, lockdown.
Yeah, you do.
Lockdown.
It's like one and it ruins it for the rest.
And it just ruins it all.
No, I'll be honest with you. That one time, whether it's your partner, your friend, or your sister, your cousin, or someone's done you dirty, yeah, we're on lockdown after that. Give it a couple of years, probably open up just about. But like, well, I've been locked down now for how long now? 2019, since 2019.
That's just ruining it of a woman that's gonna come in your life.
It's sad that it has to happen because it's like you would think there's this whole thing of treat people how you want to be treated. Like obviously we went through lockdown, everyone's mental health just went like literally went downhill. You literally didn't see anybody. You were in your thoughts, and you would think, okay, do you know what? This person is trusting me. You know, I need to ensure that they feel that I can trust them. So I wouldn't think that someone would just, let's say you tell them, okay, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling suicidal, like blah blah blah. I wouldn't expect that person to go open their mouth and tell other people. Like, number one, you have no respect for yourself. You don't have respect for that other person, and you need to grow up because in this day and age, like. Now they're saying 1 in 3 people suffer from some sort of mental condition and we don't know what it is. Absolutely. And it's like, you need to be around people that you can trust. And unfortunately for men, I feel like you guys are always forgotten.
Oh yeah,
And it's not fair. Like women, yeah, we can talk to each other, but what about you guys? Like, let's say you're like by yourself. Sometimes you can't even get in contact with your boys. Like, sometimes you'll be wondering, who do I turn to?
Yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, like I'm not even to out my boy, but to get hold of him at times when I'm going through stuff, it's a miracle, man. I'll be honest.
You guys do sleep, and you miss the pause.
Or play games.
Or play games. You'll be sleeping or playing games.
You're playing FIFA on your PS5.
You missed the call.
Yeah, majority of the time that's probably the
case. Exactly. I had a friend that was like, he was really nice. I said, when I was going through what I was going through, what he did was he went, because he knew that I wanted like a private therapist. I was looking for a private therapist. He was like, no, you need to find a private therapist. Don't go through NHS again. NHS is shit or whatever. And literally went on this website, and he knew that I always wanted a black therapist because I didn't want a white woman coming to tell me stuff that they don't understand. Like, coming to tell me, oh, go tell your mom. She won't understand. She won't. She won't. And he literally went on this website, and he found like he kept sending me emails and emails of all these like therapists that I can reach out to. So he would send me the link, and I would literally click on them, and I will send. He even drafted me like a message to send to all of them, and obviously I can choose maybe like 5 and do like a quick telephone consultation and choose which one I want through that. So those sorts of help, do you think those are? Because I feel like that really, like I really appreciated that. It's little things like that, and obviously it's not that little because it takes time to go on Google and try and filter out and try and like send your friend these things, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was such a, that was like, sometimes people don't know how to help.
Yeah, that's another. I was about to say.
So maybe you need to tell them.
Yeah, because it's one thing is that thing that, okay, you know that they won't be like that, but then some people generally don't know how to react. You might tell them something and they'll be like, oh. Like, so I've known people that'll be like, just, oh. They don't know how to react.
Yeah, they don't know.
At the same time, they don't want to say something that's offensive, that's going to set you off. And at the same time, they don't want to say anything that's also not helpful. So there's that other aspect of maybe some people just don't know how to react.
I feel like I said, it just kind of depends on obviously the individual. Like if it's a situation, for example, or for me personally, if my friends are going through a lot, it's not even like a phone conversation for me. Like I'm physically gonna be there. Look, 2 minutes, I'm at your door, knocking on your door. What's going on? Have a little bit of a drink, talk about it. Say, listen, like, cool, let's book a flight, let's go out. Like, let's just get away. Sometimes you need someone around you just to. Sometimes it's always good to talk on the phone, but then it's always good to have someone physically there just for that comfort. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Like, come, let's go, just book somewhere, just go. Like, majority of the time, if my friends are going through something, I'll say, like, cool, get your passport, pack a bag, we're going, we're out. It's simple.
I was about to say, I need more friends like that.
I need friends like that. Yeah, but let's go. Get your passport.
What do you mean? I'm always asking you, where are we going?
Goodbye. You do not ask me all this. You will ask, and then you come back and be like, "Yeah, I booked Dubai, by the way. I booked to New York."
Oh, is that all? Is that all? Yeah, that's.
Now you're gonna tell me. He's actually telling them, "Get your passport. Let's go." You're just like, "Oh, let's go here," and then like 2 weeks later, you come back to me and be like, "Oh, I booked Dubai, by the way." Oh, okay.
Yeah, you getting that side eye right now.
A big side eye.
No, but honestly, it's just sometimes that comfort is just needed. That physical comfort, like that person's actually there. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, I'm that type of person. Like if my friends need me, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm dropping what I'm doing and I'm on my way. Do you know what I mean? If I'm at work, obviously I might not drop it straight away. It just depends what the situation is. But I'll be there most of the time. I'm physically there. You know what I mean? Because I'd rather physically be there for you than be trying to write a eulogy at your funeral. That's the way that I see it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So if it means I got to take an hour of my time on my day, that's what I'll do.
Yeah, absolutely. I know someone that has a friend and they passed away they went like solo trip to Thailand and they passed away. And they didn't know why. And then like a week later, they found out there was suicide. Oh. And they didn't get, at that point, they had fallen out. So she was just beside herself, because imagine just knowing this person was going through this, and the cause of death was because they just mental health. They just decided the only way to help themselves was to take themselves out of the world, and you guys weren't even cool like that.
Yeah,
At that time, like you guys had a falling out. That's why I feel like sometimes you have arguments with friends or whoever. I want to solve it there and then, or I want to give you maybe a day or two.
Yeah, a day or two,
depending on what the
yeah.
argument is about, to just get over it, come back, let's talk it out, let's go, because you just never know what's going to happen
true.
tomorrow.
That's true.
No, I saw you put some faces there. You don't agree?
Nah, do you know, it kind of just depends.
Yeah.
Like I said, everyone's got their own different type of experience, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
I would say, like, for me, if I fall out with a guy, for me, it's what it is. I don't let it bother me that much. Do you know what I mean? I'll be honest, because I don't really open up to guys as much. Do you know what I mean?
Later on, you found out that they committed suicide, and you guys weren't cool at that time.
You know, that happened to me a couple of years ago. I had one of my guys. He was literally like family to me. Obviously, I didn't talk to him as much anymore because obviously I lived in Tottenham, and then he ended up moving to another area. So because of that, I didn't see him as much. We didn't talk that much, and then he ended up passing away. And then yeah, it just, for the fact that I've not seen him that much, and then for me to turn up at his funeral, it felt like I didn't deserve to be there. I felt like, well, I should have just like pushed and just like spoke to him as much as I can. And it's just it hit me hard on that one. I'll be honest with you. So yeah, 100%. It's just difficult sometimes. It just depends on the individual as well. Because sometimes you can try to be there for someone, but it just depends. They might keep pushing you away constantly. They just
see,
don't
that's
want to be
another
left
thing.
alone. But it just depends.
That's another thing. You try and be there for some people, but then they generally push you away.
Yeah.
And then there's another thing of, do you continue pushing? But then also, what more can you do if they're purposely not letting you in? Like, what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to support them?
That's true.
I feel like there's so many different hurdles and like aspects of mental health that, oh boy, we just need to do better.
Yeah, like we spoke about in like our first episode, we were talking about how in terms of friendship, needing that break and telling friends I need that break. And what do you think about that? Because I know I've done where I've sent all my friends like a text to say to them, guys, this is what's happening. Like, I just need a break from everybody. I'm not gonna, pick up any calls or text anyone. And when I'm ready, I will come and I will talk to everybody. But for now, just literally, I sent like a massive group to my close friends and just told them,
You see, for me, if you were to say something like that to me, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's your problem. I'ma still turn up at your door. I'm gonna be like, listen. I'm gonna be like, listen. I saw what you said in a group chat, yeah. But I'm letting you know from now, that's not gonna run. This is what's gonna happen. I'm here now. We're gonna chill. We're gonna talk. Do you know what I mean? You ain't gonna go through nothing on your own, innit? Because this is what I'm saying. It's like you're closing off the people, and then you're alone with your thoughts, and that's the most dangerous time.
Absolutely.
So like, you can send me any kind of message. I'm gonna turn up at your door, man.
I don't send messages. I just don't. I just go silent.
You do.
I go silent. All my phones on do not disturb.
See, when you do that, I can just turn up at the yard.
Yeah, that's fine. But the thing is, it depends on how well you know me. If I go blank silent, you don't hear from me for a few days. If you know me,
Yeah.
and if I'm not picking up calls, and if my phone's on do not disturb, I'm in it. But I just don't want to, not necessarily burden people with it, but I just don't want to talk. I don't want to feel like I'm a burden.
Yeah, I feel like I'm so boring. Like the same problem over and over again. How many times must I tell this person what I'm going through? I feel like they're tired of hearing it. I'm tired of saying it. I feel like I'm burdening them with it. Like how many times must I sit there and talk about this?
See, I feel guilty asking about. I feel guilty about asking like, I need space. The reason why I feel bad in that sense is because a lot of people just come to me and they just like, oh, like, I need advice on this, I need help on that. Like,
yes,
I can't actually say I need space or I need advice. Like, if you know me, it's only recently I'm only starting to be like, oh, by the way, I need some advice. But literally, if it's any other day, Pim, you will not hear from me. If you don't hear from me for a few days, that's when people are like, are you alright? Are you okay? Calling.
But then that's what I'm saying. Leading back to what I was saying earlier, rather, it's not a burden. Rather pester you there and then than be writing up a eulogy for your funeral. This is the thing.
That's true. But then sometimes, like, the reason why I sent the text is they might not know that I'm going through this on this day, and they might come to me looking for advice on something, and I have nothing to give because I don't want to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, but I can't give you advice right now. Do you know, I don't want to. So I'd rather they know so they can go to someone else to ask for advice or to also, like, you know, talk to them about what they're going through. It'll be like the blind leading the blind. Because I'm going through it, like, I'm down in the dumps. You're down in the dumps. What the hell?
We down in the dumps together, innit?
No, I'd rather. Do you know what? I'd rather just not say anything.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just not say anything, so no one expects anything from me.
Yeah.
And then I'd hope that they'll find someone else or go about their business.
But then that's the thing. If your friends really know how you are, they know your routine, they will know that something's up.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, that's another thing in itself, because you'll have friends that will just, like, keep telling you, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, based on how they come across to you, would you feel comfortable telling them what's going on with you? That's another thing.
100%. I know what you mean, because there's been times where I feel like I'm a burden to people. This is why I don't really talk to people.
Yeah, see, I feel like that as well. I don't want to tell people my problems because it's like you're always coming to me. Sometimes you'll be offloading the whole country or whatever. It's like you're offloading a boat. And it's like, I can't come to bring myself to tell you, do you know what? This is over. I can't do this. Or I can't.
And then the thing is, for me, I don't want it to be thrown back in my face. That's the situation.
I'm actually worried that if I open up and tell people what's going on with me, they'll throw it back. I mean,
more or less of the time, it is used against. Like, if you're having an argument with your friend, it is used against you, especially like your partner as well. It's used against. Like, my partners have used it against me in the past a lot.
That's just.
Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I know it's out of anger. People don't mean it, but they say you really see someone's true colours
when they're angry. Yeah. But boy, guys, we've. Do you know what? In summary, we've just got a lot of learning to do. We've got a lot of trusting to do, and everybody. I'm not gonna just say men. I feel like we just need to consider some therapy, because sometimes it's actually easier talking to a stranger than your own people. Because obviously that absence of judgment or the absence of, oh, did you hear what he said or what she said? That sort of thing. So it's like we got to do better, especially for our men.
Yeah.
We need those suicide rates to go down.
Absolutely.
We got to make sure that you have someone to talk to, someone that you feel comfortable with, and have that safe space.
100.
Essentially, and not feel judged. And ladies, sometimes it's not every day talk.
We need to do better.
We need to don't listen to hear, listen to understand. And then once we get those things sorted, we can do better, guys. Come on. We're a family. We've got to do this together. Together. And on that note, guys, thank you for listening to our lovely podcast, and we hope that you can be there for somebody that's going through it, someone that's down in the dumps. Be that safe haven for them, and just make sure that they're not alone. Check up on your friend. You haven't heard from them in a while, call them, ring them, or just turn up at their yard.
Yeah, and thank you, Jay, for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me. Come on. Thanks for having me, ladies. It's been really good. It's been good.
Yeah.
On that note, bye, guys.
Bye.